Welcome to the Underwater Podcast, where we take a deep dive into the world of underwater portrait photography, cinematography, and everything in between, with your host, Brett Stanley. Welcome back to the Underwater Podcast, and this week we're chatting with French underwater portrait photographer Alison Bounce. Growing up far from the ocean in the middle of France, Alison had a lifelong fear of water, which she hoped to overcome by moving to the coastal city of Nice and starting her love affair with underwater photography. Since then, she's built her business around her gorgeous prints, working on removing the colour blue from her palette, and literally writing the book on underwater portraiture. Okay, let's dive in. Alison, welcome to the Underwater Podcast.
Hello, Brett. I'm super happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
It's great to have you here. Now, obviously, you're French. Whereabouts in France are you?
I'm in south, close to Nice. I don't know if you know. It's in south, very south of France.
Yeah, I've been to Nice, down on the Mediterranean down there.
It's a beautiful city. There's a lot of sun and it's super nice.
It is beautiful. Is that where you grew up?
Nope. I'm originally from Ardèche. Ardèche it's in the middle of France. So it's like a mountains and very wild landscape. So I moved 3 years ago to the south, next to the sea, for underwater photography.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So your underwater photography journey started before you got to Nice?
Yep. I started in 2014.
Oh, yeah.
So almost 10 years now. So I started in a pool and then I decided to do by the sea. Yeah. And
so what started it for you? What made you kind of get into underwater photography?
I started by pregnancy, photo shooting. So the first shoot I did, it was a friend of me. She was pregnant and she asked for different photo shoots to make different memories about this very special moment of her life. Yeah. And I wanted to try underwater photography because I was super curious about that. And I said, okay, let's go. I'm going to purchase underwater housing and put my camera on and let's dive together. And we did it.
Yeah.
So I was super happy about the moment we shared. And then I was totally, I think it's a right word. I was lost when I upload the photos on my computer because all the photos, the frames were green. And I didn't expect for that.
Right.
I was like, oh my God, I missed the photo shoot. I did wrong or something like that. I tried many things. So I opened Photoshop for the first time of my life. I discovered Photoshop the same day, actually.
Oh, no.
And,
okay.
And I was like, oh my God, it's a super game. It's a super toy. I really like that. So I want to do more. And I developed my photos, I put on Facebook, and many people ask me for the same things. So I was like, okay, so they like that. Okay, I like that too. So let's live this experience, and that's it. And I'm still here today, so I think it's good.
That's awesome. Were you into the water before you started doing photography? Like, did you grow up loving the water, or was it something you found later on?
Absolutely not. I was super afraid about water. So I've been aquaphobic maybe 20 years, and I learned to swim when I was 21. So I was super old. I was obliged to learn how to swim because I've been a firewoman. So I had contests to pass to be firewoman. So I learned to swim, but I was still scared by put the head underwater. And when I start underwater photography, I try to fight this fear and to reconnect myself with the water. And still today, I feel more comfortable, but I'm still afraid by the deep water. I don't know.
Right.
So I love to be in the water. I love to be underwater, but I need to be secure too and to stay where I can see my food. I mean, I'm, yeah,
Where you can
not too
stand.
deep.
So the fear of water, was that something that you sort of like, was there something that triggered that when you were a child, or you just kind of always never felt comfortable in it?
I have no idea. I think my parents always told me, okay, be careful, water is dangerous or something like that. And my brain remember only that. So water was dangerous for me.
Right. So you just made that association and have kind of built that into your personality a little bit.
Yep.
I'm kind of the same. Like I do have a fear of water, and I grew up with the water, you know, like from a kid, I was always in the water, but I have this kind of fear of it.
And how did you pass that?
I haven't. You know, I still have this fear of it. I still kind of lose my confidence in the water sometimes. But I think a lot of my coping mechanism is to work in the water. So I use underwater photography as my reason to be in the water and to distract me from any of the fear. So when I don't have a camera in the water, I feel pretty kind of exposed, I think. Like the camera is my safety.
Totally understand. I think it's the same for me.
Yeah. Do you tend to go in the water for recreation, or is it just for work these days?
No, I try to. Actually, I'm training myself to free diving because I would love to explore the deep water, but as I told you, I'm still scared. So yeah, I tried free diving. So I did my IDA. SSI. I don't know if that means for you.
It's the same
SSI. Yeah. So I have my SSI 1, and I'm training for the 2.
Yeah.
And I feel more comfortable with that. And I hope to go maybe for the 3. So more than 40 meter, finger crossed.
Yeah.
And but as you said, sorry, without the camera, I feel unsafe. So yeah, I have to work on that. Yeah, still sorry for my English.
No, don't apologize. It's totally fine. My French is terrible, so this is much easier. That's interesting. So did you get into the freediving because you want to be able to shoot more in the open water, or because you want to get over your phobia, or kind of both?
I think it's a boss. Yeah, it's a boss. I'm curious, and I want to overpass my phobia. Yep.
And how was that when you first did that first free dive course? How did you handle that?
Oh, it was hard for me. First, because I didn't understand how to equalize my ears. So I was frustrated by that, and I couldn't go down. I was locked like 10 meters because of the ears. So I left maybe 4 months to go, and I decided to return and to work on my ears. And I did also I don't know the English for that, but it's like a doctor. It's an osteopath. I don't know.
Yeah, osteopath is the English word. Yeah.
Yeah, so he works on my ears too. And when I go back to for the training to free diving, I succeed. So I get the 20 meters. So I was super proud for that. And it was nice. And so once I was down at 20 meters, I looked at the surface, and in my brain I said, oh my God, this is so high. There's a lot of water. How can I do that? So I get the surface super, super fast because I was like, oh, I need to breathe. But in reality, I was really quiet and I felt super nice too. So yeah, it's just the panic that come and
Yeah. And so, because I mean, I've had that before as well, where you're so concentrating on getting down that you kind of forget how deep you're actually going, and then you kind of turn around and look up, and it's like this reverse vertigo kind of thing where you're like, oh my God, that's a long way back up again.
Yeah, but actually not, because it's fast to do a go and a return to 20 meters. I think it's less than that 30 seconds or something like that. So it's fast.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I think, is, but in your brain is like, oh my God, that's a lifetime away.
Yep.
But at the time, it's like, especially with the freediving fins on it, it's really quite fast. But there is that little panic in you where you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to make it.
And this is what I like with water. You have to overpass everything and to be focused on what you are doing. And you have to be clear with your mind, before to dive or before to go to do a shooting. I need to do meditation to be really relaxed and to forget everything happened during the day. I don't know how to explain, but water puts you in front of everything you can think during the day. I mean, if you have a lot of negative charge, the water brings you to that.
Yeah,
I'm a bit confused.
I think I know what you mean. Yeah, I think it's like, everything that all the stress and the experiences of your day, once you're in the water, you are down there with that.
Yep.
Like that it really amplifies that stuff. And so for you, the meditation, you have to clear all that out before you get into the water. Is that right?
Yep, this is that. And I try to share that with my clients, Some of them are not comfortable underwater, so I try to teach them how to do meditation to be relaxed before to dive together.
Yeah. So how do you handle that? What are the steps that you take when you've got a new client who possibly isn't comfortable under the water? What are the steps that you sort of take in the session to get them comfortable and get the most out of them?
For me, the main key is breath. It's how to breathe. So I teach them how to exhale very slowly and take a deep breath, a big deep breath, and then exhale slowly, maybe 4 times more than they breathed before. So they can get relaxed. And then to be focused on the music, on a song they like. If they can't, because some people can't imagine music or listen music on their mind, I ask them to count just 1, 2, 3, and to be focused on that. And it works. I think it works.
Yeah. So you're really just trying to distract them to sort of get their thoughts separated from worrying about being underwater. You're just kind of trying to give them little tasks to keep their mind occupied.
Yep.
And then once you've got them nice and calm and relaxed, is there other stuff you're doing once you're in the water? Are you teaching them breathing exercises or any of that sort of stuff?
On the water, I always have an assistant with me, so they can stay close with my clients, so they feel comfortable with that. And we communicate a lot. So we talk a lot. I explain them everything. I show them my camera with the photo. And I think they give more motivation when they see, they watch the photo on the camera. So I try to make them comfortable with, it's for the nose.
The nose plugs?
Yeah, nose plugs to don't have water on the sinus. And that's it.
That's great. Do you find that a lot of your clients need to have the nose plugs, or do you find that it's kind of the rare few that can't handle the water up their nose?
To start, they like to have, because I think they just need to get confident. And when they realize that it's not so difficult, they can left the nose plug. Yep. It's just it's like a teddy bear to be safe, but they don't really need that.
And so with that nose plug, are you just doing it before you start taking photos? Like you just use it to get them used to it and then they take the nose plug off and then you start shooting? Or are you shooting with the nose plug and then having to Photoshop that out?
It depends.
Yeah.
So we use the most of time for training to see. I need to watch to see how they move underwater, how they are comfortable, so they can keep it at the moment. But I'm shooting sometimes. So, and I can keep some photo of this training. So I have to remove on Photoshop then. Yep.
And are you using like the nose plugs that clip on the outside, or are you using like silicone ones that go inside the nose?
In France, we have only the clip.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We cannot. I saw one of your posts one day, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool!" The plug you put inside, and I tried to buy, but I can't have for France. So,
oh no.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's the clip. So
that's a shame. Yeah, because when I first used the clip many years ago. And I vowed never to use it again because it was so hard to Photoshop it out.
Yep.
So yeah, congratulations for being able to do that and do it successfully.
It takes a time, but you can set some action to go faster with that. Now Photoshop can with AI. Yep, AI can select faster the clip nose, and you can remove in 2 clicks. So it's fast. It's okay.
Oh, interesting. So you're using the AI generative fill and asking it to rebuild the nose, basically.
Yes, I'm not a pro for AI, and I don't want to use too much. But for this specific thing, yep, I use it. I think I save maybe 10 minutes by photo. So it's very cool.
I think one of the longest parts and the least successful parts of my retouching is retouching people's nostrils to look normal, especially if you don't have a picture of what they actually look like without the nose plug. So that's great that you're using that AI, and I think AI has some really great benefits, and that sounds like a really good use of it.
Yep.
So speaking of retouching, what sort of things do you tend to do? I mean, I know your photos have a very specific look in terms of the color grading and the retouching. What sort of process do you go through when you're actually in Photoshop with an image? Where do you start in terms of cleaning it up? What do you leave? What do you kind of get rid of? Just talk us through kind of how you tend to do things.
So before, you have to know that I looked myself maybe 5 or 6 years before to find finally what I like to do and what I would do and how to do what I want to do, what I do today. So I tried everything, but since the beginning, my water was never blue. So I erased the blue. So when I was in the pool, I used a lot of fabric, but color fabric. So yellow, red, pink, black, and everything, but never blue because I don't like blue. Blue, right. It's a super cold. It's a cold color, and I don't like cold because it's too mystic for me, and I like the warm tone. And for me, as I told you, water can be stressful sometimes, so I prefer to imagine a welcoming water with warmer tones and something different, like magic and unreal too. So 3 years ago, I decided to change everything and to be focused on what I like to do. And even if people didn't understand what I'm doing, because I know a lot of people, many people said me, "Oh, but it's not true. I don't like that because it's not water and everything." But I don't care.
Right.
For me, it's my universe. So now my main inspiration are the Renaissance painting, and I try to have the same tones. So and then I don't want to pass too many time on editing. So I edit now today. I edit my photo. I develop my photo only with Lightroom. Right. If I use Photoshop, it's to remove something that I cannot do with Lightroom. So the development, the color development is all on Lightroom, and I use the chromatic color, the grading color, and the temperature, the gradient, and that's it. And also I shoot with a warm tone, so my raw files are super warm at the beginning.
Right. So you're setting your white balance quite warm to start with.
Yep.
That's great, though. I mean, that's the first thing I sort of thought when I saw your work a few years ago was how painterly it's like. You know, it is very much fine art. It's very, very artistic. It's very old master kind of paintings. So it's interesting to hear that that's exactly what you were going for.
Yep. Since I'm photographer, I discovered painting. Before, when I was young, I didn't know anything about art or painting, sculpture. I didn't know. So I discovered that 10 years ago when I started photography. And for me, it's the most beautiful world I could discover. So it's super inspiring for me because all the painting, all the paint, all the sculpture has a story. And for me, when I'm photo shooting underwater or wedding or whatever you want, it's a story. So I imagine all of my photo shooting as a story, as a art. I was a writer, and I write something special for my clients, and they become a work of art.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And all of my photography are prints, and they are destined to be on the wall. I don't want to keep only on the file on the computer or cell phone. No, all the photography, I mean underwater, are for the wall and to be exposed.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so is that how you market it as well? So you're sort of telling them that your packages come as with prints, or are you and no digital files, or how do you work that?
I have only prints because for a long time, for myself, I mean my own life, I took a lot of people and I left them on a computer. And one day my computer dead and I lost everything.
Yeah.
I understood that the importance that was to print the photo. And moreover, when you invest in underwater photo shoot, it's a bit pricey. It's a special photo shoot. It's unique. And I think you have to show this image. And it's very important to print and to put on your home, and moreover to be proud of you, because as I told you, a lot of my customers, my clients are not comfortable underwater, so it's a special moment for them, and I want they remember every day when they walk next to the print that they did it, and they keep confident on them. For me, it's important. This point is important.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a mark of their achievement of doing this underwater photo shoot and pushing their boundaries, and this unique, incredible experience that they've done, and being able to be reminded of that by having the prints on the wall, I think is amazing.
Yes, it's exactly that. Thank you for reformulate. Thank you so much.
No, Alison, I used to live in France. I lived in France for probably like 4 or 5 months, and my French is terrible. So I basically just didn't speak the whole time I was there. Unless someone could speak to me in English, I didn't speak. So I know what it's like when you're trying to explain something to someone who doesn't speak the same language as you.
Yeah, so I try to do simple. So I think everybody can understand what I mean.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's working. So in terms of your packages, how do you price the prints? Are you doing a certain number of prints in the package itself, or is the price they pay just the sort of sitting fee, and then they choose print sizes and styles afterwards? How does that work?
I made samples. So I have only one package, actually two. So you can choose between pool or ocean.
Yeah.
And so the price is different because for the pool, I have to rent the pool, and it's more expensive. And then the two package has two prints. So they have to choose what prints they want. And if they want more, I sell them more. But if they order 5, they have a discount. And if they order 10, they have a discount more interesting.
Oh, okay. Right. So, yeah, the more prints they buy, the cheaper it becomes.
Yep.
And how do you find that model, that business model? Do you find that most people wanting that sort of thing, or do you have people coming through who really just wanted the digital files?
I just asked myself what I would to have if I was a client. Because when I start, I was the first underwater portrait photographer in France. There was no one. So at the beginning, I tried to sell the files, the HD files, but it was not good because it was just photo. The prestige was not there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
when I changed and I sell prints, it was different. So I understood that I have to keep this way.
So when you were doing the digital files, it didn't feel like the money value was there. Like people kind of felt like they weren't getting as much for the money.
Yes.
Whereas when you're doing the prints, it feels like they're actually getting something and getting, like you say, the prestige.
Yes.
How do you sell the prints when you do a shoot with someone and then, they leave and then you go through the photos do you then do like an online proofs gallery, or are you going through and choosing the ones that you sort of edit? How does the after the photo shoot kind of work?
So they have, I deliver them an online gallery so they can choose the photos they want. And it's a pick time. Maybe you know pick time?
Yeah. Yep. So it's like a online proofs gallery. Yeah.
Yes. So I use PicTime and both photo studio, but it's more for European photographer.
Right.
I use photo studio because they can choose if they want more retouch. So when I upload the photos, they can ask me for more retouch. And there's a plugin that send to Lightroom, and I can edit the photo and then upload directly from Lightroom. But it's a super plugin. I like that. I save time with. But and I use PicTime too because they can directly order by there and have a look on what they order. You have a preview on PicTime. If you select a photo, you can have the preview of your product. So I like PicTime for that, and I use only that.
So you're not having them come back to your studio and then sit down with them and show them the prints. You're just sending them the gallery. They go through and choose the ones they like. And then if they want prints, then they can order them from the PicTime website. Yes.
What I ask them, it's a video when they discover the print. They record themselves when they open the print and discover, and I like to share with them the reactions they have.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So when the prints arrive, you get them to film themselves opening the prints and their reaction.
Yes. I would love to ask them to come back to the studio, but some of them came from very far, like Paris, and it's impossible. So this is the best way I found to share this moment with them. Yep.
Yeah. Have you found that you've had any clients who are not interested in prints, that they just want to get the digital files, or not so much?
Yes, a lot of my clients ask me for the files first, but when I explain them the importance of the print, they immediately understand.
Right.
So for the moment, it's fine with this part. Yep.
Yeah. So it's really just educating them as to why your stuff is better being printed. Mm-hmm. And you wrote a book about underwater photography as well.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Just before the COVID, my editor wrote me an email and asked me if I would be interested by write a book about underwater portraits, and I said, what? Me? Okay, right. Yes, yeah. Why not? Okay, let's go. Let's do it. So I wrote it during the COVID. And it's about everything. It's for beginner, intermediate, and I think expert. Yep. It can be, because you can always learn about everybody. So I can. Okay, I'm saying expert. Yep. And so I'm talking about the safety, the gear for the posing, how to drive the model. And the editing, of course, and I have a lot of guests as you. You are in my book, and thanks again for accept the invitation.
Oh, well, thank you for asking me. Yeah, that was a great honor for me to be included.
So it's the book, I wrote the book I want to had when I start underwater portraits. It's all my notes I took during these years, and I put on a small book. And I think it's good because many people sending me pictures with and said, thank you for that. It's a good beginning to start with underwater photography. So thank you. And the good news is I'm working on the translation for English.
Oh, great.
I was supposed to do before, but the time passed and So I'm a bit late, but now it's going to be published in English. So I'm super excited with this project. It's nice. So I hope it could help people to start underwater photography and to discover underwater photography. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I think a lot of us who have gotten into this genre of photography have felt the same way, where it's like, there is no real repository of information. We kind of either have to work it out ourselves, or we're talking to people to try and get some tips and some advice and stuff. So to be able to have somewhere that's central, that people can kind of sort of do basically learn from a book on how to get started in underwater portrait photography, I think that's really helpful. What was it like actually writing the book? Is that something that you found easy to do?
It was long.
Yeah.
It's a very hard work because you have to manage your idea. On my brain, I have a lot of things to explain, to teach, to share. And I was like, okay, how organize that? But fortunately, my editor was here for that and helped me on this part.
Yeah.
And it took me 4 months to write. So it's a long day. It's a very long work.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. I have thought about doing something similar for a very long time, but the idea of actually sitting down and trying to write, because the book is quite thick. It is not like a thin book.
It's almost 200 pages.
Yeah, which is, it's a lot of words. So that's great. You did so well.
I think the most difficult part was to select, to choose the pictures to illustrate what I'm talking about. And you have to choose the perfect image to illustrate and not the image you liked. So my editor did it. I couldn't choose for that. I was too attached to my photos, and it was too hard for me to choose. Yep.
Because they want something that's going to illustrate whatever you're talking about, but you're probably like, but that's a terrible photo. But they're like, no, but it's the best photo for this illustration.
For example, the cover. I don't like the cover of my book. I would love another cover, but my editor told me, okay, we need a clear photo, so a light photo.
Right.
And bright photo. So they choose two photos I dislike. I don't like these two. I would like something darker with a very strong contrast and minimalist, but no, they choose bright photo.
I definitely would say, like, looking at that cover and then knowing your work, that these images on the cover are not really indicative of what you normally do.
It's totally different from my universe. So when people saw my book on the bookshop, they don't know that it's my book, because they know my style, with warm colors and everything, and it's totally different. And actually, it's the totally opposite. So,
it's very light and funny. Airy and kind of, it's got color in it, and your work is dark and warm, and it's quite interesting. So now that you've done like some freediving courses and stuff, like, how do you feel about shooting in open water? Because I see a lot of your images are either in the ocean or in some sort of open water. How do you deal with that in terms of your fear of water, but also taking a client out into the open ocean?
When I go to the ocean, I am with two people more. So one freediver instructor to the safety and one assistant. So and we have a paddle or a boat with us to have a rest if we need. And the deeper where we go, it's 5 or 10 meters. And the part where we shoot, it's super clear. Sorry. So I can see the deep, and I can see my fins. So I feel comfortable with that. And the best way in France is there's no bad sharks, you know?
Yeah.
So you're safe normally.
The Mediterranean's pretty safe to swim in, right?
Yes. The only bad, it's not bad, but the dangerous species there is, it's jellyfish. I'm okay with that. I'm not fear with my clients.
So I have swum in the Mediterranean myself, but I can't remember if is it warm enough year round to be able to shoot in that?
Only from June to September. The sea, it's around 25 degrees. I don't know in Fahrenheit.
It's probably sort of 80, 70, 80. Yeah, which is nice. That's a good place.
And since 2 years, the Mediterranean Sea is about 28 or 30 degrees.
Oh, wow.
So okay. It's nice for the tourists, but it's disaster for the sea because there's a lot of species that disappears. And for example, we have more and more jellyfish. They come in the sea during the summer time that normally they not.
And that's because the warm currents are bringing them in.
Yes.
Do you have a lot of, because we have that here in Southern California, we have kelp, which is this beautiful tall seaweed basically, and it likes cold water. So the warmer what the water is, the less kelp we get. Are you finding that as well? Like a lot of the native life there is disappearing because of the change in temperature?
Yeah, I think it's pity. It's like, do you know Posidonia? It's a long herb that grows on the sand, but underwater. It makes oxygen for the fish. And when the water gets warmer, the Posidonia dead. So it's alarming, for the ecology. It's a bad situation.
No, I think so. I think Posidonia is like an eel grass type of thing. Like it's a green grass, right? Like a couple of feet high.
Yes.
And when the warm currents coming in, it's is it killing it off?
Yes.
And then there's not enough oxygen in the water anymore for the animals.
Yep.
Because it's not creating it. Yeah. And that is such a terrible situation to be in. The idea of fish and animals under the water kind of suffocating because there's not enough oxygen in the water is such a weird kind of concept.
Yeah, it's critical. For me, I'm very preoccupied by this situation because I'm living in the south, and every year the temperature are higher and higher. So yeah, I'm preoccupied with the climate, and even if I like water and to swim in a warm water, I prefer to have a cold water and to see the marine life safe than to be a spectator of this critical situation. Yep.
I think that is the kind of the double-edged sword of the whole situation is that we want to be comfortable in the water. We want to swim in nice warm water, but the life that's in that water, is very different. Even out here, like the kelp forests we have out here in Southern California are magical. They're one of my most favorite places in the world to swim. But I would happily trade that for freezing cold water if it meant that kelp would stay rather than disappearing as it gets warmer. So in terms of that sort of thing, is there anything that you're doing in your work to kind of highlight or help to educate people in terms of climate change?
I'm currently preparing an exhibition about. So it's not directly on ecologia, but I took all the photo underwater and in free diving. So by showing my photo, I hope to give messages like, okay, water is precious, water is beautiful. We can do a lot of things with water. There's a fish, there's a life underwater, so we have to keep there to protect her, protect it. Sorry. So yeah, and the exhibition it's about mythology because I'm passionate. I'm mad of mythology, story, and everything.
Yeah.
And it's a mix between mythology, art, and ecologia. So I try to illustrate some myth, so legend, that it's a water legend actually. So for example, I have the myth of Narcissus. So I don't know in English, Narcissus.
Yeah, Narcissus. It's
Narcissus?
the man who he fell in love with his own reflection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I made a photo like that to illustrate this myth. And I wrote a legend too to explain why I chose this story. And I hope to sensibilize the spectator with the beauty of water. So water, it's okay. We need water to live. We need water to stay in life.
Yeah.
We need water to swim. I mean, for entertainment or anything. But water can be used for other things. It's like a mirror. So the water, it's a reflection of life, and it's also the first things we know when we are grow up in a mother. I don't know how to explain.
yeah. Like when we're in the womb, like we're in the liquid, we're in water to start with. That's where
exactly.
we're born.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to illustrate all these faces of water in this exhibition to sensibilize the spectator.
That's great. So what's going to happen with that exhibition? Is that something you've got somewhere to like a gallery involved, or is it something you're working on and then you're going to find somewhere to put it?
So it's in a gallery. It's a moving exhibition. So I have 3 places. The first will be on December in the south of France, and the next year in Paris.
Oh, nice! That's great. Yeah. Is that an exhibition that you're going to travel with yourself, or do you just sort of send it to the gallery in Paris?
I'm going to send to the gallery, but maybe travel too, because I would like to see the exhibition in Paris. And
it's I can imagine that would be amazing. So, are you doing video work as well as stills? Are you doing some motion work under the water as well?
Yeah, my husband is a filmmaker, so we work together, and he taught me video. So since 2 years, I do the both video and photo.
And so how are you working that into your business, the video side of things? Is that just for your clients, for your portrait clients, or are you doing some commercial work?
For the moment, it's only commercial. But I would like to put more video with my clients. I mean, only for backstage, or maybe a very short video, 30 seconds, for them to keep something on their phone to show to their family. I mean, especially for pregnancy women, to show to their family what they did. Yeah. And it's the same as I told you before, to keep confident and to remember that they can be proud of them. And they made it. Yeah.
That's great. And are you charging extra for that sort of thing, or it's just like part of the service?
For the moment, it's free. It's a gift because I'm testing.
Yeah, you're trialing it.
But next year, I would like to sell it.
Yeah, as a separate package or something.
Yeah, maybe like an option. Yeah, because it's more work. But yeah, maybe like an option. It's cool.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so there is one last question I have for you, and it's something I've started doing with a lot of my guests. Is tell me what your best day was, your best shoot, and your worst shoot.
So I'm gonna start by the worst shoot.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, it was in Australia. I was there for wedding shooting.
Yeah.
And the bride asked me to photograph her on the ocean. She's a surfer, so
right.
she knows perfectly the ocean, but me no. And I would to try my new equipment. So my weight belt diving,
Yeah.
and I was too weight actually. So we start the photo shooting. And a few minutes after, the ocean tide.
The high tide came in?
Yep. And I start to drown myself because I was too heavy with the belt.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So I had to choose between my camera or my belt. So fortunately, the bride came and unplug my belt, and we go to the beach. Yeah.
So your client actually saved you.
Yeah. But at the moment I was like, oh my God, I'm drawing? Seriously? What am I supposed to do now?
Yeah, right.
So she helped me. Oh, sorry.
Oh, he thinks it's very funny as well.
Oh, yeah. Okay, it's good. And the best photo shoot I did, it was with Magali. So it was in 2018.
Yeah.
Magali contacted me to do a photo shoot with her family. She was 30 at this time. And she explained me she just learned she had a cancer. And it was super hard for me because I was the same age at this moment.
Yeah.
And I could imagine how hard it was when you just a mom of she had a daughter of 1 year only, so
Right.
I could imagine how hard it was. We did this family portrait underwater, and it was super nice. And Magali asked me to do another one 2 months after. She had 10 chemotherapy between the two photo shoots.
Yeah.
And her body changed, face changed. She was weak. And the thing I remembered when she contacted me 2 months ago, she asked me to do the family portrait very quickly because she wanted to have her hairs. It was very important for her to keep her hairs on the photos. But
right. Yeah.
2 months after and 10 chemotherapy after,
she lost all her hair.
Yeah, but she was very beautiful. And we had this session, and the first immersion we did, I forget to press the button to take the photo.
Oh no.
The spectacle was so beautiful, and I was really impressed by her that I was breathless.
Yeah.
I was really breathless because I remember I said myself, wow, this woman, as weak she is doing that.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. That's so, wow, she's super strong. So I came back on the surface and I said her, oh wow, it was super nice. Okay, I have the photo, but please do it one more time for me.
Right, yeah.
Actually, I didn't get the shot.
Oh no.
So she died another time. And I'm so sorry because it was really hard for her to do that.
Yeah.
But she died another time, and yeah, I just clicked twice and I get the perfect shot.
Oh, nice. So you saved it.
Yep. And this shot was was exposed in Paris for the in France we have a special event.
Yeah.
It's a Pink October. I don't know if you have the same in US.
Yeah, breast cancer, I think.
And for this event, our photo was selected to be exposed in Paris. So I think it's a most beautiful story I have to tell about underwater, because now Magali and me are really friends.
Yeah.
Are very close friends. She had another daughter, and she's very fine. And she always explained this our meet like okay, this photo shoot really was really helpful for her during the cancer fighting.
Yeah, like it was therapeutic.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
Yep.
That's great. Alison, thank you so much for sharing everything. Those stories were great. I'm glad you didn't drown, and thanks for coming on the podcast and sharing your career and your experiences.
Thank you, Brett, for this moment. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening, everyone. And as always, if you like the podcast, please subscribe, review, and share. If you'd like to support with the production of these episodes, you can purchase our very cool merchandise at theunderwaterpodcast.com. We've got branded coffee mugs, stickers, beer cozies, and posters featuring our amazing illustration and logo by Joe Hodino. If you'd like to connect with us or learn more about our guests, you can reach us at theunderwaterpodcast.com or on Instagram. We also have a Facebook group where you can discuss the episodes and even get your questions answered by our guests. There's a link to it in the show notes. Also, don't forget about Waterproof magazine, showcasing the best in underwater art. Read it online or purchase a print edition at waterproofmag.org. You can learn more about my underwater photography workshops and mentoring at brettstanley.com or Brett S Photo on Instagram. The Underwater Podcast is presented and produced by me, Brett Stanley, and our music is Neo by Oh Boy. Keep creating, everyone. I'll see you in the water.